Hello everyone, welcome to the New Year's first Australian weekly real estate news highlight. I'm Peter, brought you this live stream broadcast from our beloved Darling Harbour. It's a beautiful day today. It's very fortunate that we didn't have a really hot summer this year, and then we didn't have a very hot Christmas this year, but we did see the fireworks and the sky is blue. It's just beautiful down here. I really wish when the border opens, if you're not in Sydney, please come over and have a look at it. It's just one of the best places to live, to my knowledge, on the earth. And if you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel. That will be the biggest support that you can do for us. With no further ado, let's get into what's happening in Sydney real estate market. All right, so first one that we have here is homeowners were listed in late 2020 were rewarded with higher prices than expected. Normally in Sydney market, December is not a really good month to list properties. There's really no buyers, or there's not that much buyers. A majority of people wouldn't be able to get as much money as what they would generally in the hotter time, which is sort of around March, April, or July, June. However, last year was very, very different. There's a lot of FOMO with first homeowners, and also, there are a lot of fear of missing out, in the market. So 2020 has wrapped up with some really good prices for the vendor who are happy to list in December. The prices has grown, average about 0.7% over December, which is the third consecutive successful month of property prices rises, and the highest monthly growth since the first lockdown in March. So the price increment actually becomes higher and higher, and the median price of Sydney homes is now about 871,000, which is 2.7% higher than the start of October. A lot of people actually received a lot better prices than what they expected. For example, in this particular sale, it was surprisingly $1.7 for Dave and Rachel, who actually leased their properties and decided to go for auction in December time, and that price is actually $100,000 more than what they actually have expected, and they are hoping for $100,000 under, and with the short campaign, at the end of the day, there was 75 group people came through to the house and had a look at it, and then at the end of the day, they just get a much better price than what they expected. And this is not a singularity event as well. In North Shore suburbs of Epping, a family who sold nearly $125,000 above the reserve prices at auction late last year. They would never expect it to sell so high above their expectations. And this is the house there it is. And this one is in Ryde, and even this one has sold at $240,000 over the reserve in December. So there's plenty of people who are getting good monies in the year of 2020. The market is just non-stop. And as an agency, we have exchanged a lot of deals in December as well. And then we have just recently exchanged deals in very early January as well, where in majority of time, a lot of people hasn't even come back yet. So let's take another look at the next one. New South Wales real estate spending hit new heights in 2020 as COVID spread homes buying frenzy, which means 2020 is a big year for people to spend in real estate. Preliminary sale figures showed close to $95 billion changed hands in the New South Wales housing market in the year up to November, roughly the same amount of money spent on a state real estate in the whole of 2019. So one state has taken the entire number of transactions of the whole country back to 2019, and this is only a year apart. So this has been a really amazing year for people that who actually buys property, sells property, or works in the property real estate industry. Later on, we're going to have another news article about the home builder scheme, how that affected people who are actually buying, established home or building their own houses. So, CoreLogic data show that total value of New South Wales sales over the year to September was already near 19% higher than over the same period in 2019, while in Sydney it was 20% higher. And there's also a bump in the whole national sales. So New South Wales is about $95 billion. The whole country is about $285 billion spent across the country. It's 10.3% increase on the same period of 2019. And this includes a lot of regional areas, a lot of suburb areas as well. So it looks like the market, not only the prices has going up, the number of property that was sold in the market are going up as well. So it has been a fantastic year for the real estate market. Break it down, one of the most popular areas for buyers would be Mosman, where more than $1.5 billion in houses and units sold over the year to November, according to CoreLogic. Also in the northern beaches, Manly was the most popular unit market with $504 million in total apartment sales, followed by DY, Corolla, and Randwick. The right region and the north coast, northern coastal areas such as northern beaches and the central coast accounted for most of the suburbs with the biggest rise in the prices, which we're later on going to give you a figure about how much percentage that will actually rise. And also areas like Ryde, who had the biggest annual house prices increase in any Sydney suburbs. And that price increment is 19.2%, which is absolutely crazy. We're talking about $1 million become $1.2 million in just 12 months time with COVID and lockdown and restrictions on open houses and everything else. So this has been, a crazy year for real estate in 2020. And then this has been a buying frenzy, has been the hand exchanging frenzy for the whole year. Even there was this COVID, which nobody would have expected. Next one, let's go have a look. So people say, you say there's a lot of increment. Has any areas actually dropped in prices in the popular cities like Sydney? The fact is there is. So home prices grow in all but two Sydney regions in 2020. We actually captured this already, and the broadcast that we have done last year. However, let's go back and have a look and see where are the opportunities at the moment. Because this year, I believe those two areas will have the biggest capital gain among any other areas. This will bounce back quicker than everywhere else. So let's have a look. Research from property group CoreLogic, who is a very reputable data firm, I reviewed the city homes values grow by an average of nearly 3% over 2020, but there were even bigger rises in most popular regions for buyers. For example, the Central Coast led the growth with average price rise about 8.5%, while in the outer southwest, Blacktown, the Hills, and Far West, there was a rise of close to 6%. So 8.5%, 6%, these are big figures. In general, good years, we're talking about 5% increment on average for a lot of suburbs. So we're talking about 6% to 8.5% in most areas is absolutely, a good sign of a good market. Will depend on which side you're on, right? Let's have a look. There's other areas that's actually increased by 5% and so on and so forth. And then people ask, okay, so which two regions actually drop in prices? So the first area, we actually talk about it already, which will be the inner city area. So unfortunately, CBD market in terms of residential has taken quite a hit because migrants, the students and travelers, they're all gone. So the rent yield has really significantly dropped in the CBD at the most times. And because the rent has dropped, sort of retract a lot of investors to fulfill their properties, and then hence people getting good deals. However, even after the whole year, the drop was only about 0.7%. Another area that actually dropped in prices are the Sutherland Shires, had the biggest average drop at about 1.6%. The reason being is that new unit projects give a buyer a lot of increased choices. It wasn't that many buyers in that suburb to begin with anyway, but there was a lot of development. And this is only a short-time thing. When once people start looking in the areas, one of my friends is managing projects down there, and then just leading up to Christmas in about 4 to 5 weeks, they have sold 15 properties very quickly without big advertisement, without big displays, and the building is not even ready yet. So this is a sign that this year you'll probably be looking at a very strongly bounce back market in the Sydney CBD and also in Sutherland Shires. Let's have a look at the actual numbers. So in terms of the price increment, Central Coast 8.5%, Outer Southwest 6.1%, Blacktown 6%. And then, obviously there are areas that's dropped as well. Like CBD is about 0.7% drop, and then Sutherland Shire is about 1.6% drop. Parramatta, being a western area, still had a 0.7% increment. It's not big, but it's a lot better than a lot of people would have expected for the year of 2020. So with no further ado, let's have a look at what will happen in the year 2021, right? We're really looking forward to it. All right, so apart from the numbers, now let's have a look at what people are selling. So what's interesting in Sydney at the moment is that the homeowners are cashing in on lack of land by selling unused tennis courts and swimming pools. So people not just selling their houses, now people are actually breaking up their houses by selling their tennis court and swimming pools from different locations in different areas. Let's have a look how much the pool and the tennis courts is gonna sell for. So a range of abnormal blocks curved off their original sizes and then come up with sale of price tags between $600,000 to about $2 million for the tennis court they don't use, or for the pool that you don't use, sell to people who want to build houses or high-end homes. So this has becoming a little bit of an interesting trial in Sydney. Not only is happening in the certain areas, actually happening all over the place. Areas like Lund Cove, people are selling their big tennis house and the pool. 648 square meters property has attracted solid interest from buyers who would be suitable for single tenants or townhouses. And there's also other people like in Homeowners who actually curved over 1,000 square meters off their backyard to sell as a vacant block. And there are people who just absolutely getting tired of maintaining their pool. Their lifestyle has changed. They don't want to do this anymore. And then they don't want to maintain it anymore, spend more money on it, chop it off, sell it off, and really utilize the good values of their land. So there are pool being sold, driveway being sold, tennis courts being sold. People are just literally buying anything of other people's property and take advantage of the land. So it will be a very interesting year this year to see what else people actually buying. And then there's a grass court. So to maintain it, it will be very expensive. But the grass court at the historical Hunter Hill home has sold for $255,000 over the reserve. It's not even sold at $250,000. That's how much money it's actually got sold for over the reserve. And then this tennis court at 28 the Best Street, Lund Cove, is currently on the market with a $1.8 million price guide. Whoa, good year. All right, next one. ABS reviews government building packages causing a surge in new houses. So let's have a look. What's the surge like? Like everyone know, if you keep watching our channels, you know the Australian government actually has rolled out a very interesting scheme, which is the home builder scheme last year, which gave people up to about $25,000 to build their home or renovate their homes. And then that has caused a wave of home, new renovations, especially in the new house land package sector. Latest figure from the Australian Bureau of Statistics has shown total building approvals across both commercial and residential market rose 2.6% in November compared with the previous months. And then, a lot of people have said that residential house approval have risen for 5 consecutive months at a level not seen since December 1999. So it's a booming that we haven't seen in about 20 years. So it's absolutely a hot market for the home builders as well. The extension of home builder at the end of November is not a factor of this month's result, but we'll see the strength in detaching houses approvals extending into 2021. So this year, this trend doesn't seem to be stopping because the government actually extend home builder grant as well. And approvals for private houses have surged 40% since June. Federal and state house stimulus measures and low interest rate have resulted in strong demand for detached dwellings. And then there's also new rules coming out for people who are more relaxed on redevelopment their own properties. So there will be a lot more duplexes and townhouses that's happening this year. As far as I know, in the areas like Eastwood, 5 houses has already been knocked down and sending for approvals to get it rebuilt as soon the new rules came out last year. Next one, let's have a look. Sydney home prices increases by biggest margin since pandemic hit. So this is a continuation of the topic we have discussed earlier. 0.7% over December is a lot, and it's actually on average for 13 areas. It's actually a lot more than that as well. In terms of the actual increment, it's 2.7% higher than the start of October. The record low interest rate is definitely a key role in this, and this year the bank is going to remove the responsible lending, which will cost more easy lending. And I think in that sector, because people can get more lending done, that's really going to help the market. There was a 40% drop in transaction activities across Australia from March to April when the COVID first came out. But a late year surge in buying activities mean the year still ended up with 8% more transactions than over to 2019. So you can have a look. This is just absolutely amazing. Even though we lost about almost half of a month, but we catch up by a very, very hot Christmas market. A lot of people will forecast the price growth which returned in the second half of 2020, combined with the ongoing supply shortages, will mean the continued strong demand should see prices remain on course to climb steadily through 2021. So now we're in 2021, let's see if that price is going to keep rising and rising. All right, so a couple of light-hearted ones after all these big numbers. Last year is an amazing year. So instead of just going on the numbers, let's have a look at what interesting properties, unusual homes that were listed in 2020. So first of all, we have this really sort of medieval style cottages in Coffs Harbour. So this one is, it looks like it's straight out of the movie, the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. 2020 is full of surprises. And then this one is actually listed for sale as well, which is renovated from a partial of an aircraft. So you can see this is actually an aircraft. And then in this particular property, you have a kitchen, you have a bathroom, and you have a beautiful living area as well. And this home over here in Castle Hill, painted in pink outside, was told by the real estate agent has got a Barbie on the outside and the Versace in the inside. So on the outside, you see a really hot pink color, which is very unusual for any homes. And inside, there was like even a zebra-inspired themed room. And this is your Versace home. And then the price listed for this home is about 2.1 million. And this one, what they call it is called vintage steel. So this vintage steel is actually a barn, and then used to raise horses and cows and all that. Got converted into this beautiful loft-style home, which is like what we have seen in Woolloomooloo, and then what we have seen in Pyrmont in many areas. And this is just absolutely amazing. They have done a good job, but it was very interesting listing. And the next one is the Salvation Army Hall, in Leichhardt. So it used to be an army hall, and then come over here, it become a residential home. It's even got a really beautiful done landscaping at the backyard, and then you have your little water features in there at your fireplace. And the time wrap house from the 1840s is another listing that we got over here, and the prices was sold for 1.49 million. And then you had this beautiful thing in Blue Mountain as well, very unusual, pink, blue, and gold on the inside, and you have living room with a big carved down to the floor, and then you have this really, straight out of the movie type of properties that was being sold in the Sydney market as well. So let's take a look at all these photos. Isn't that interesting? Welcome to Sydney. Very last one. Last year we get a very high click on a beautiful fairy tale houses in Cremont Point that looks like it's straight out of a Disney movie. So instead of, but unfortunately we didn't know who the buyer was, and this year the buyer was actually revealed, who is Rebecca Rochefort Davis, who bought this beautiful fairy tale home, and this is a beautiful actress, producer, very big names in the film industry. And not only that, the celebrities are actually very much into the market as well. Like Hamish Blake, Zoe Foster Blake, then they had their Van Cleef property, and also our very famous model, plus entrepreneur Jennifer Hawkins, who are also in the market as well. And not to mention the Jackie O from the Carl and Jackie O show. So celebrities are not just working on the entertainment stuff, they're also working very hard on finding their beautiful homes, selling or buying. All right, so that wraps up for the day. And thank you so much for coming back to see us again in the new year. We'll be better, or we'll be bigger, and it will be more informative this year. And please stay tuned and subscribe to our channel. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next one on